In this video, I'm gonna tell you about 41 incredibly weirdest facts. I gave you a bonus fact in the last that is very hilarious. I challenge you won't be able to stop your laughing after watching the full video. So I request you to watch the full video. 1. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. 2. The world's deepest post box is in Suzami Bay in Japan. It's 10 meters underwater.
Hey!
3. In 2007, an American man named Corey Taylor tried to fake his own death in order to get out of his cell phone contract without paying a fee.
What the fuck was that?
4. The oldest condoms ever found date back to the 1640s. They were found in a cesspit at Dudley Castle, and were made from animal and fish intestines. 5. In 1923, Jackie Frank Hayes won a race at Belmont Park in New York. Despite being dead, he suffered a heart attack mid-race, but his body stayed in the saddle until his horse crossed the line for a 20-1 outsider victory. 6. Everyone has a unique tongue print, just like fingerprints. 7. Most Muppets are left-handed. Because most Muppeteers are right-handed, so they operate the head with their favorite hand. 8. There are around 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body. If you took them all out and laid them end to end, they'd stretch around the world more than twice. But seriously, don't do that either. 9. It costs the US Mint almost twice as much to mint each penny and nickel as the coins are actually worth. Taxpayers lost over $100 million in 2013 just through the coins being made. 10. Light doesn't necessarily travel at the speed of light. The slowest we've ever recorded light moving at is 38 miles per hour.
Hey!
11. Casumarzu is a Sardinian cheese that contains live maggots.
Nope.
The maggots can jump up to 5 inches out of the cheese while you're eating it, so it's a good idea to shield it with your hand to stop them from jumping into your eyes. 12. The loneliest creature on Earth is a whale who has been calling out for a mate for over 2 decades, but whose high-pitched voice is so different to other whales that they never respond. 13. The spikes on the end of a stegosaurus tail are known among paleontologists as the thangomizer, a term coined by cartoonist Gary Larson in a 1982 Far Side drawing. 14. During World War II, the crew of the British submarine HMS Trident kept a fully grown reindeer called Pollyanna aboard their vessel for 6 weeks. It was a gift from the Russians. 15. The northern leopard frog swallows its prey using its size. It uses them to help push food down its throat by retracting them into its head. 16. The first man to urinate on the moon was Buzz Aldrin, shortly after stepping onto the lunar surface. 17. Some fruit flies are genetically resistant to getting drunk, but only if they have an inactive version of a gene scientists have named Happy Hour. 18. Experiments show that male rhesus macaque monkeys will pay to look at pictures of female rhesus macaques' bottoms. 19. In 1567, the man said to have the longest beard in the world died after he tripped over his beard running away from a fire. 20. The dance fever of 1518 was a month-long plague of inexplicable dancing in Strasbourg, in which hundreds of people danced for about a month for no apparent reason. Several of them danced themselves to death. 21. Vladimir Nabokov nearly invented the smiley. 22. In 1993, San Francisco held a referendum over whether a police officer called Bob Curry was allowed to patrol while carrying a ventriloquist dummy called Brendan O'Smarty. He was. 23. Sigurd the Mighty, a 9th century Norse Earl of Orkney, was killed by an enemy he had beheaded several hours earlier. He tied the man's head to his horse's saddle, but while riding home one of its protruding teeth grazed his leg. He died from the infection. 24. The Dutch village of Giotorn has no roads, its buildings are connected entirely by canals and footbridges. 25. A family of people with blue skin lived in Kentucky for many generations. The Vulgates of troublesome Greek are thought to have gained their blue skin through a combination of inbreeding and a rare genetic condition known as methhemoglobine. 26. Powerful earthquakes can permanently shorten the length of Earth's day by moving the spin of the Earth's axis. The 2011 Japan earthquake knocked 1.8 microseconds off our days. The 2004 Sumatra quake cost us around 6.8 microseconds. 27. The first American film to show a toilet being flashed on screen was Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. 28. Melting glaciers and icebergs make a distinctive fizzing noise known as Burgee Seltzer. There is a glacier called Blood Falls in Antarctica that regularly pours out the red liquid, making it look like the ice is bleeding. It's actually oxidized salty water. 30. In 2008, scientists discovered a new species of bacteria that lives in hairspray. 31. The top of the Eiffel Tower leans away from the sun, as the metal facing the sun heats up and expands. It can move as much as 7 inches.
What the fuck was that?
32. Lieutenant Colonel Jack Churchill was an only British soldier in World War II known to have killed an enemy soldier with a longbow. Mad Jack insisted on going into battle armed with both a medieval bow and a claymore sword. 33. A U.S. park ranger named Roy C. Sullivan held the record for being struck by lightning the most times, having been struck and surviving 7 times between 1942 and 1977. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot in 1983. 34. The longest musical performance in history is currently taking place in the Church of St. Berchely in Halberstadt, Germany. The performance of John Cage's organ squared slashes as slow as possible started on September 5, 2001, and is set to finish in 2640. The last time the note changed was October 2013. The next change isn't due until 2020. 35. There's an opera house on the U.S.-Canada border where the stage is in one country and half the audience is in another. 36. The tiny parasite Toxoplasma gondii can only breed sexually when in the guts of cat. To this end, when it infects rats, it changes their behavior to make them less scared of cats. 37. The Katzine clavier, cat piano, was a musical instrument made out of cats. Designed by 17th-century German scholar Athanasius Kircher, it consisted of a row of caged cats with different voice pitches, who could be played by a keyboardist driving nails into their tails. 38. There is a single megacolony of ants that spans 3 continents, covering much of Europe, the west coast of the US, and the west coast of Japan. 39. The largest snowflake ever recorded reportedly measured 15 inches across. 40. An epidemic of laughing that lasted almost a year broke out in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, in 1962. Several thousand people were affected, across several villages. It forced a school to close. It wasn't fun, though. Other symptoms included crying, fainting, rashes, and pain. 41. The Romans used to clean and whiten their teeth with urine. Apparently, it works. Please don't do it, though. You've watched the video till last. So here's bonus hilarious fact. Female kangaroos have 3 vaginas. What the?